Hey, welcome to PB&J Farms. I'm Papa Brian. Today we're going to be planting out this well-watered garden. We have got tomatoes and pepper plants here. I've already taken the liberty to cover this with 2 inches of sifted wood chips. And let's take a look at what that process looks like. All right, I like to use a sifted wood chip as a cover because that's what I have lots of. We got lots of wood chips here. We have a very low-tech operation, which a pitchfork, and a screen will get you a cover in this type of consistency. If I go down into the chips that are on the bottom, I can get you're almost getting into, they're turning into soil again. So that's the type of coverage I get. And then the rain comes down here, pushes the fines down into the soil, and you end up with the nice wood chips on top. All right, so we've got these 2 inches of chips placed on here, and I do a pretty good job of scattering the chips and the subgrade the soil below them, nice and level. Then I can put in my nice 2 inches of chips. I know that this knuckle here is 2 inches, so you can use your hand. My little shovel here is 2 inches. So I can use this right there, and now I'm down to the soil where that plant's going to be planted in at. I come up here, I've already laid out this bed. I've got a tape measure going right down the middle. I've got my tomato section here, my pepper section here. I'll go ahead and move these chips out of the way. That's ready to go. And then for these little solo cup size plants, I just use an auger on a drill. For a 1 gallon plant size, I would use a post hole diggers and install them with post hole diggers. Or I can use my little shovel right there for these little guys. But that makes this pretty easy. When we plant tomatoes, we want to plant 2/3 of this plant. So I'm going to cut these these leaves off here, and we're going to plant this all the way down to here. This whole section will turn into roots. I've already dusted this hole with a little soil balancing mix. I'll go over that in another video. People put a variety of things in with their tomatoes. Some people use powdered milk. I use some Azomite, some of this stuff, and we'll put something in the hole. So I'm just gonna pinch these off. Push all that right around the plant, kind of dress that up. Then I'll pull my wood chips back around it. Probably a good idea to water before you pull your wood chips back around it. And then you'll soak that in real good. If you're living right, it'll be raining later on. I'll go ahead and hit this one again. These are determinate tomatoes. That means they're gonna grow up and they're gonna bush, okay? There's indeterminate tomatoes, just keep growing indeterminately, and it's a vine. And as long as you prune it correctly, it keeps going. But these will go, they'll produce their fruit, and then they'll be done. and I'll plant up some more of these and have them ready to go for when these are done. I'll actually cut this leaf off, probably that bottom leaf off. Once the plant gets up and it establishes leaves out here, these lower leaves can you want air to be able to flow around this plant to keep it disease free. So water splashing up on it, which these wood chips help that a lot. So you don't end up with hard dirt that splashes water all over the bottom of your plants. The water drops come down, they hit the wood chips, and you get less splash erosion. So that is planting. The tomato plants, the pepper plants go in the same way. Let's take a look at planting some basil in this row, and we'll be direct seeding some basil. We're following the plant spacing guides for these plants out of the Well-Watered Garden Handbook. There's a chart that has that. They say 3 rows, 14-inch, 3 rows in your bed at a 14-inch in-row spacing is what they're calling for, what Noah's calling for the spacing on basil. Okay, I'm just gonna show you how I move the chips out of the way to get my area to furrow. All right, and so it's that easy. Just move those chips out of the way, move that 2 inches of chips right out of the way, and then these are teeny little seeds. Okay, so what I do is I walk these seeds right down this crease of my hand. Okay, and I'm going to drop 3 of them in each hole. There's a germination rate on these seeds that are 85%. So if I get 3 in each hole, I got pretty much a guaranteed that I'm gonna get something. This is Mrs. Burns' citrus basil in this row. I'm gonna be doing a Thai basil here, and I will interplant with the tomatoes and peppers a Genovese basil, which is the standard Italian basil. So I got 3 or 4 seeds in each hole. I'll thin the ones that are the weakest and keep the best. Okay, let's take a second. I'm going to show you how I cover these seeds, because what I don't want to do is get the wood chips in them. So I've got in a separate bucket right here. I'm going to get up and get some dirt, and I'm just going to cover a little bit of dirt over these seeds. And until these seeds germinate, which is in about 5 days, they'll germinate. And once they start growing up, I'll be able to push the wood chips around the base of them. I'll leave this hole kind of exposed until we're ready to do that. All right, if we're gonna furrow a row here, what I'll do is I'm gonna plant some spinach here. We're early in the season, and I could get one planting of spinach in here before it gets too hot. I am going to just push the chips out of the way, just like Paul's video. Get down to our soil. I'm gonna push them out of the way pretty good. Now, very low tech. I can use my little shovel, or I can use this stick, and I'm gonna furrow my row. All right, I'll plant my spinach seeds in it, and then when I want to cover that, I just put my hand like this. Okay, I'm gonna lay my spinach seeds in there, and then I'm just gonna cover that like this. And what I'll do is I'll take this excess chips with my shovel, put them in a bucket, and I'm gonna get them out of the way, all right? And this is about stage 3 of the well-watered garden. We've laid it out, we've taken out the grass, we installed our subsoils, our compost and soil mix, we've covered it, we've planted some plants, and then we'll plant this out, and through the summer we can come back and revisit this. Like and subscribe if this is the kind of thing you're into, gardening on a budget. Thanks for visiting us today at PB&J Farms.